Christopher, what sort of interesting things have you seen that really mark out the startup scene as different?
So, I think that, first of all, just the idea that this is happening at such scale in emerging markets generally, but particularly in my case, in a place like the Arab world, where we in the West have one narrative about what's going on there. We can't get our minds around what it really means that places where we think of from CNN is all about political instability and complexity are building things. And I think the second narrative bias that we have is that we tend to look for always the bright, shiny new thing as innovation, forgetting that in many societies that merely the access to things which we in the West have taken for granted at some points is innovation, actually is innovation as defined by there. And so, just to give you a sense of the scale of what's happening now and where I think it's going overall, if I were to tell you that the largest per capita consumer of YouTube on earth was Saudi Arabia, would you be surprised? Would you be surprised to know that the largest demographic of those viewers are women? Would you be even more surprised to know that the largest plurality of content are watching is education? To self-teach, to get basic skills, to think about how to use basic technology in ways that can solve problems. And then for we in the West, there are two phenomena that become so important in a place like the Middle East, but I think across emerging markets. One is there will be advantages in the experience like mobile, because in the place of the Middle East, they've never known landlines. So there will be real innovation of a kind of a global scale that comes from that. There's a lot of sun there. There's going to be real innovation in places like solar technology and desalinization. But the thing that we really miss in our narrative so much is that these are large and growing markets that are huge in and of themselves. Our narrative in the last 10 years is if you're going to make it, you have to make it in America. In the next 10 years, making it in America is going to be a big thing. But all of a sudden now, we're talking about billions of people and markets that have innovation on their own terms in ways that we can co-author arrangements, which I think is going to change the dynamic profoundly.